Hey guys, it's Abby with MotorCityNerds, and hi to all the new subscribers. Welcome. Please hit the like or leave a comment or anything. It really, really helps me out. Please think about subscribing. That'd be awesome. We're small, but we have a good time over here. And yeah, let's just get right into our mid-season recap for the Daryl Dixon show. I'm not going to hone in too much on like Easter eggs and things, but more of just a general recap of how we're feeling. I really liked Dead City. I thought that really gripped us, and I do feel like Daryl, which it shouldn't because this is your best breakout character, is kind of dilly-dallying in places. But that I'll get into more. I don't hate it. I'm just saying I feel like it could move a bit faster. So in the first episode, I really liked this breakdown. I really liked what was going on. I didn't think they explained hard enough how many factions are going on here and who's really working with each other. I feel like they didn't differentiate that enough because we have this military thing, we have these people on the boat who are testing on zombies, and we have like the nun group that we end up meeting. And obviously they have people they're connected to, and we find more of them later. But I felt like they threw a lot at us in the first episode, which isn't a problem. I just wish we would have spent a bit more time with each of them and got what was going on more. But I do understand they want that to unfold more as the season goes on. I like Izzy. She's a cool character. The nun lady, she's cool. I like this Daryl being a pseudo-dad to a kid, but we kind of just did that with Negan. So I was like, okay, how many times are we going to be doing this? But I don't hate it. But we start with him getting to France. We start with him leaving that recording. That ends up biting him in the ass. I liked seeing Daryl running around in a place where he's kind of a fish out of water. That's very interesting, and I really like that a lot. Especially for this character. It's definitely for Daryl as a character. That's probably the smartest way they could have went, and I do like that part. I also think, just a little bit, that the accents are making it hard for the average viewer to keep up with some stuff. I'm not having that issue, but I did see people online saying that, where they were like, I gotta replay things, this, that, and the other, and I just want to say that to say it. But I really wasn't having that issue, but I can see where others would. Now, just like with Dead City, they do introduce a lot of really cool concepts. And I like later on in the third episode when we have the zombies falling from up high, that happening again, that callback to Dead City. I was like, that's cool. One thing that they're really doing is, and we learned that these people are testing on walkers or zombies or whatever you want to call them, the acid blood. So now they're like alien, and that makes them real dangerous. And we get more into that, but haven't fully got what's going on yet. And like I said, I just wish by now we would have known, and we do know, but more about at least one of these groups, whether it's the scientist people or the military people. And I just wish we really knew more about the bad guys, essentially. We know the one guy from episode 1 really wants Daryl because he killed his brother. He doesn't believe the story that he gave. I thought it was moving really fast with the nun stuff because I was scared we were going to dilly-dally there too much, but I really like them showing the weapon room because that's a real thing. I was like, oh, that's a cool concept. That's a cool thing because that's real. That really did happen because churches were getting sacked a lot and they did need military rooms to keep weapons in back in the day. So that works. And then to have these nuns stepping up was really cool. And we meet Laurent, we meet this little boy, and he's super important. And I want to know, do they truly, I feel like this they didn't get across perfectly well either, do they truly believe he is the second coming of Christ, or is this like and not, I tie everything back to Game of Thrones here, if you've read the books, is he like a fake Aegon, like a Phaegon? Is he just being raised to rule, and they just know this is probably our best bet if we have this person who we train to rule, train to be in charge from a very young age, and when they're older, they will be able to lead people to a better society? Or do they truly believe he is the coming of Christ? Do they truly believe that he is the Messiah? Do they truly believe that he is from God? Or is it just he's special because of the way he was born? And like I said, being raised to rule. That I would like to know definitively. And maybe they did say it and I missed that, so let me know down in the comments. But yeah, I was worried of an immaculate conception thing. That's not the case. But I want to know, do they truly, and what do people think? Do you guys truly think that this is the Messiah, or just somebody that they're like, we need to train somebody how to rule and to rule correctly and yada yada yada, and they want it to be this boy? But I feel like we have so much coming at us externally, which it's great, and I do like it a lot, but like I said, I wish we knew more about the main conflict. But in episode 2, we meet the military people and we see the boat people in episode 1, but then in episode 2 when they're with the kids in the orphanage, I thought that was a really cool concept, because those kids were like the Lost Boys, and we're like, no, our parents just never got to pick us up, essentially. And we get to see the outbreak kind of happening, and those were really cool shots. Those were really cool things going on when the outbreak was happening in France. That was really awesome. I really liked that a lot. And when she snatched the keys from that guy she was seeing, I really loved that. I was like, hell yeah, good for you. I just wish we were getting more info dumped at us than we are. That's all. And I just wish it was spread out a bit more. And that's me nitpicking. I'm not complaining and going, oh, it's terrible. I just wish that was happening a bit more, instead of things being alluded to. Because we're halfway through now, and I would like to have at least some answers. Not the big answers, but some. Really, really liked was this kid has been sheltered for so long, and the juxtaposition of them lying and then him finding the mule dead, and it's like, that's a little thing, imagine it's people and all these things. So I did think that was a really cool thing, and these kids and seeing how they're living compared to Laurent, and I thought that was interesting and cool. And Daryl really knows, like, I kind of have to take over watching out for this kid a little bit, but he hasn't fully committed to that yet, and I feel like he's fully committing to it in episode 3 when he sees Quinn, the boyfriend that she ditched back during the outbreak, acting foolish. He's like, they need protecting. Daryl as a character is not somebody, it's just kind of rare, where you don't really need a full arc, which we normally don't like as an audience, but we know who Daryl is, and we know what he stands for, and we know how he's going to move. And I just really like him being put into almost this, these people need to have an arc, and not so much Daryl. It's kind of flipped and reversed. Let's get to episode 3. So, in episode 3, we get to see these scientists are messing with these zombies, and they're pulling chains off of walls and things like that, but then they die very quickly. So I was saying to my mom, are they trying to make an army? And my mom was like, well, how would you make an army? How would they do? And I was like, well, not so much an army that listens, but if you have 100,000 zombies with acid blood and super strength, even if they're only alive for, let's say, 20 minutes, and you unleash them on a group, they could really put a dent in things and let you come in and massacre, like sack a city is what I'm trying to say. Like, they could be the vanguard, and then the actual people, military, come in and destroy or take or do whatever they want, or take over. So is that what's going on here? Are they trying to build, like, are they trying to find a cure, or are they trying to make an army of walkers that is more deadly than anything else? Really hope they don't do a Last of Us thing, which, spoilers for Last of Us, where this kid is the cure and we're going to test on him. And we know Daryl ain't going to like that. We know he's not going to stand for that. But I really hope it doesn't go that route. But they just want to take him out, maybe because, like I said, they're raising this kid to rule, or he's the Messiah, or whatever, and he could be a focal point to rally around, like we see happening. So if you take him out, it kind of breaks their group up. It divide and conquer. I like seeing Izzy's background, and then going back to her house and seeing that little girl, seeing the walkers falling, seeing all that, and watching her home kind of get destroyed, and seeing her take all that stuff from underneath that fireplace. I was like, smart girl. You got stuff to barter with now. And it shows Daryl, like, you ain't everything I thought you were. And then later on, seeing her in the club, he knows you are on the up and up a bit. You're a little shifty, and I like it. Another thing I liked was seeing their first person before they get to Paris, that first guy who made the band. I was like, oh no, this is one of these artsy-fartsies who's losing their mind, just like over in Dead City we had that happening with the school teacher making the crazy stuff, and Negan's going through it, and also Croat acting wild with the theater and things like that. So I like seeing this guy also from being alone, losing his mind, and doing crazy things, and Daryl's like, no, we gotta get out of here. I thought that was a cool thing. But when they get to Paris and we see this other compound and we see these people and they're like, oh yeah, no, we'll help you. They have their little setup, they have their little things they do, but you can tell Daryl's like, you guys are not well protected, you guys don't have nothing. But they're the ones who introduce Daryl and them to the people in the catacombs, which really cool to use the catacombs. So smart, so cool. That was awesome. But my one issue was there's no way out. There's only one way in and one way out. And so that could be an issue down the road, especially in those bunkers. Like, you might think you're safe, but that's also a tomb, possibly. But when they go down there, I thought that was really cool. They're bartering, they get in, we see this underground nightclub, and they're kind of like, wow, look at the way these people are living and how we're living. That's outrageous. And then we see that Quinn, the boyfriend, is there, and he's talking to Izzy, but he's also seeing a new girl. And I really liked her interaction, the singer, with Laurent, and giving him the necklace. I thought that was really cute, really sweet. I really liked that little thing, but you can tell she's not too happy about what's going on. She can tell there's something there between her man and this girl. Because prior to meeting the boyfriend, there's a bit of a deal that's going awry, and I really like Daryl being like, no, I'm not taking nothing from you guys. And then even when Quinn, the boyfriend, shows up, or the ex-boyfriend shows up, when they start talking, you can tell Daryl's like, I don't like none of this. I'm not doing this, especially after he drops the bomb of, that's my son, and that's where the Immaculate Conception stuff goes out the window, and I was happy about that, because I was like, don't do all that in this universe. We got enough going on. As soon as Daryl hears this guy talking sideways about this kid, he's like, no, not today. I'll find another way. I don't need you. But that Quinn does give a lot of information, where he's like, I have heard rumors about people on boats. We don't know how much this guy knows. So I want to see their mano-y-mano. I really want to see Daryl and Quinn go at it, and Daryl beat the brakes off this guy. I think that'll be really cool. My uncle's outside yelling. We really see that juxtaposition of when this kid first shows up and everybody's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like I said, this is a person to rally around. They all think he's the second coming of a leader or Christ or whatever, and he's bringing solace to people. And then when they get back again and the military shows up, it's completely destroyed. And I liked that run through. I thought that was cool. But like I said, you could tell from the very beginning, Daryl was like, these people are not well protected. They don't know what they're doing enough. There's not enough to defend them if something goes down. Now, right now, they just want Daryl. These bad guys just want Daryl. They want the American. But what are they going to do, like I said, when they find out this kid is somebody for all these people to rally around? I think they're going to go for him, and that's going to piss Daryl off. Or that Quinn is going to try to snatch him, and that's going to piss Daryl off. Something is going to piss Daryl off with this kid, and he's not going to like that, because like I said, we know how this character operates. Especially when it comes to children. He don't play around. Now, here's my theory, and this is what I was saying to my mom. We have the Rick and Michonne show coming, and I'm assuming that eventually Dead City, the Rick show, I can't remember what it's called, We Live or something, and Daryl are going to have to join again, but I'm thinking of this as a military-wise, like a conquering thing. So if we have Negan and Maggie over here with the New York situation, and we have the Commonwealth, and we know from that they're trying to find a power source through using the dead, now there's a commodity that people may want. So if they try to go over to the U.S. With a military, if a military comes to take people in the Commonwealth, they're going to have to defend themselves. It's going to have to be a big war. And if all of our main characters from these shows meet up together again, okay, well, what does Daryl have in his back pocket if they need help? Kind of like when the elves show up at Helm's Deep, and I know that doesn't happen in the book, but in the movie of Two Towers, when the elves show up, Daryl may have that card in his pocket if he calls France and calls Laurent and them and is like, hey, leader of this place, I need your help. And they could send people over to help if that's what this is leading up to. But I don't know all the details, but I was just thinking, like, strategy-wise, it's kind of good to be the pseudo-father of somebody who's the leader of an entire nation down the road. We don't know how quickly that will happen, but it'd be a good card to play if you have it. Like I said, think of Helm's Deep. Think of, or even when Gandalf and the Rohirrim show up, like, that could be the French. You get what I'm saying here with Laurent down the road. I'm talking like seasons from now. But that would be a cool thing to do. But let me know what you think down below. I know this is a quick recap. This is just a mid-season thing. I'm going to go into detail about that. I still have to cover Ahsoka. I'm really, really loving Ahsoka, and so is my mom. Everybody's loving Ahsoka. It's great. But, yeah, I got to do some reactions. Tell me what you think about this. I think it's fine. I think it's just dilly-dallying in some places, but other than that, I'm really enjoying this. But I will say I enjoyed Dead City much more. And I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. I'm on OF, I'm on TikTok, I'm on all the things down below. Check it out. Please subscribe. Like the video. It really helps me out. Check out all the pages. It all helps. Thank you.